Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
I'm Jill Friedman, and I've seen fire and I've seen rain.
Oh, no. That's such a sad song.
It is. But I thought of it.
I mean, to be fair, the feels are real.
The feels are
we
real.
have some real feels.
And also,
fair.
I feel like fire and rain is a very weird Mageddon kind of vibe anyway, so.
That's fair. That's fair.
I thought it,
but I was going to say,
fit, if not tonally, then at least thematically.
Because we get a lot of feels in these last few episodes.
Boy, howdy.
But they're like squishy feels, you know?
Yes.
Like, it's not like the episode had the final episode ended like 20 minutes before it actually did. That would have been very sad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, don't you want to end your
Very
series
sad.
on, like, just total amnesia and misery?
Right? Like, hey, remember everything we've been building up to? Summer vacation, teens last hurrah. Now it all ends in misery. Because you know what?
It's like,
Okay,
it's like the Wayne's World bummer ending.
Yes.
I gotta tell you, there is a show available right now, or at least right now while we're recording this, that I don't know if it's been renewed for a season 2.
Oh.
And I'm slowly losing my mind because if it ends where it ended and there's only one season of the show, I'm going to actually go insane.
What show?
Oh, no. What show?
Wolfpack.
Oh, you've told me
no,
about this show.
I think that I saw that didn't get renewed.
I know. I'm going to slowly go insane over the next 56
Okay,
years.
wait, you know what, Joy? If it's official that it is not being renewed, we could watch it real quick.
We could
And
watch
then
it. This is true.
I could share this pain with you.
This is true. Look, as a Sarah Michelle Gellar fan, I was just really excited to see her in a supernatural property again.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I don't know if it was particularly, it was probably one of those things that was like a place and a time, and it was an extremely slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's also why it didn't kind of get renewed, because it was like, we're taking a little too long with some of these. We're letting it breathe a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, but it's werewolf. It's werewolf noir is what it is.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh no,
So
it's
it was built
for
for
me.
you. So it was
Exactly. It's built for me. It's built for me personally, for me, Joy. And it ends on such a cliffhanger that I'm like, I can't. I know there's a book series, but books are not my medium. I can't just read the books. What do people like me do in this situation? Anyway.
On an even
gently-
less Gravity Falls related note, Sarah Michelle Gellar was the guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race last week.
Oh, was she? Good for her.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay.
She's like, I've been slaying bitches for years.
I love her. I'm so glad she's doing. Look, I'm also really glad she took time off to take care of her family.
Yep.
Super duper important. I'm also super glad to see her back in the spotlight and doing things because she's great.
Agreed. Okay.
But anyway, yeah, listeners, if you're wondering why we haven't started talking about Gravity Falls yet, it's probably because me, Joy, I'm sitting here being like, so we watched these last for Danielle 3 episodes. And I was like, it's all one long movie.
Wait.
Consisting mostly
Where
of...
is the split where it's 4? Because I watched on Hulu where it was 3.
So on Disney Plus, it's 4.
Right, but where's the split?
Oh, the split happens in the last 2 episodes.
Like, my best guess is the 44-minute episode could be split into 2 22-minute episodes.
I mean, but
I don't know where the split actually
happens. Do you guys get the Seuss last time on Gravity Falls?
No.
No.
Okay, yeah. So there's a last time on Gravity Falls on
What?
Disney Plus where Seuss is like, so it splits right when the Stanley and Stanford don't hold hands and Bill comes back.
Wow,
That's where the split is.
That is a wild place to do that.
And so then there's Seuss being like, last time on Gravity Falls, we were trying to do this thing, but then the Stan brothers got in a fight, and now, you're all caught up. That's where I am right now. I can't wait to see what happens next.
That feels like
I love you so much.
It feels like such like a corporate mandated decision.
Yes. Like there must be a 22-minute
right.
break.
Like it just smacks of some pencil pusher being like, well, we have to get another 22-minute episode out of this.
Well, but it's also that, like, we need another commercial break, right? Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like we need another commercial break
actually,
right
that
here.
makes sense, because Disney XD, because these all aired on Disney XD first. And Disney XD, even though it doesn't have, like, ads like network television, like, you know, Cheerios and Transformers and what have you,
Sure.
Disney XD, like, it'll still have an ad break, but it'll be an ad break for other Disney XD shows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That makes sense.
Okay. I mean,
it was very cute.
I am a little bit sad.
Have you guys go to the last time on.
I was going to say, I'm a little bit sad I missed out on that last time on, but you know what? I can go back and find it somewhere.
Yeah. I'm sure it exists all by itself, probably somewhere, especially since they don't break up the episodes like on things like Hulu. Yeah. So I'm sure it's just like, I'm sure it exists. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you can find it. But yeah, these last 4/3 episodes mostly consist of, Bill has taken over Gravity Falls. Dipper needs to find and make up with Mabel. Dipper succeeds. Let's go on a fetch quest to go get Ford, who is now an inanimate object, and maybe save the rest of town while we do it. Credits.
Yeah, like everyone works together,
That's the show.
Right? To take down Bill Cipher, and then we get the sort of like, we need to tie up all the loose ends, right?
Yeah.
What, planning a birthday party? Had the birthday party. Grunkle Stan and Ford reconnected. Now we need to see the reconnection play out. You know, there's like 20 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Which I'm not complaining about. I actually quite liked it.
I'm not mad at longtime listeners will know Danielle and I like schmaltz.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, it's the rare show that gives a denouement like the breathing space it needs.
Yes.
Like the only shows I can really think of that do that are like this and The Magicians, and I know The Magician or the second to last season of Magicians, which I know is a very controversial hot topic. But the episode where that thing happens, they give like a solid 7 or 10 minutes of the end of that episode to like processing the thing that happens.
Jill, do you want to hear the wild thing? I literally watched that episode last night.
Synchronicity.
I'm not even caught up on The Magician. I don't think I made it past season 1.
I do not know why. But
It
The
is so made for you?
is one of those shows that I have seen, I kid you not, 4 to 5 times.
Really?
Yes.
Like,
really.
Right up there with Fringe with you?
I don't even necessarily think, like, if anyone was asking me, like, what's your favorite TV show? I don't even think it would come up in the top 5. But I have seen it.
That's so funny.
Many times.
I've seen it a bunch, however. Don't trust it.
There's just something about it. I don't know.
So
anyway,
fun.
I saw that episode literally last night. Absolutely ridiculous. I love
But
it.
did it give the thing the space?
Yes. The
Good.
whole point I was trying to make is that it is an example of a show where a very big thing happens,
Sure.
and then a shockingly sufficient amount of screen time is given to process and decompress from the thing. Mm-hmm. And I think Gravity Falls is another rare entry in that category.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you have such fast-paced stuff that Gravity Falls usually does, it's nice to have the juxtaposition of, like, letting relationships breathe and come to resolution on their own. And, even my favorite thing about, I know this is sort of starting at, like, second to last or last episode, but my favorite thing about, like, Stanley and Stanford finally figuring out how to work together is even when there's imminent danger, they still can't get along.
No, not quite.
Not really. And it's just so funny. It's so funny to me. And it's just like,
I mean, they keep it on brand, right?
They do keep it on brand. Like Ford still hasn't apologized. And I love that that's still a sore spot for Stan. And Stan's just like, all you have to do is like, say thank you.
Yeah.
Say I'm sorry. Just something. And Ford does it in a way that you obviously know he doesn't really, like, he doesn't mean it. He's just saying
I'm sorry you felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just saying it to get Stan to do the thing.
Mm-hmm. Which works very briefly.
Very briefly. Well, because then they're right back to, like, being, you know, oil and vinegar. It's insane.
I think one of my favorite things about the entire show is that Zodiac thing is so important. You see it literally every episode. The iconography on it is sprinkled and reinforced throughout the entire show, and then it doesn't mean a damn thing. I love that. It
just wasn't necessary.
I love that for us.
Yes. I mean, listen, is there some part of me that wishes I could see what had happened, what might have happened?
Oh, 100%. Like, I want to know how that was going to shake out. But the fact that it didn't, also great.
This is one of those things where it's like, oh, the prophecy was saying whatever all along, you know? Like, it wasn't ever actually supposed to amount to anything. It was just supposed to kick off this series of events.
Right.
And I'm like,
well, and also, like, my favorite thing about that is the like, you took apart your Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Like, you took apart your Deus Ex Ford. It was like, oh, yeah, I know how to defeat. I've always known how to defeat Bill. Now it just makes sense. And, like, they try to do it. And my favorite thing is Bill shows up and it's just like, don't you know that doesn't work unless you hold it?
Oh, no, it's Bill. That's what you're going to say, right?
It's Bill. That's what you were going to say, right? Right?
Like another top line read of the entire show.
But yeah, and I do like that it ends up needing to be the character development of, like, Stan, when we first met him, would have 100% sold some kids to be rich and famous. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
but not Grunkle Stan, who spent the summer with Dipper and Mabel.
Yeah, not Grunkle Stan 2 months later, who has spent the summer with Dipper and Mabel and will not, you know, like, will not allow them to be raised, whatever. But, like, I love that one of the things Bill offers him is, like, riches, fame, comfort. And I'm like, Stan, 100%. This is how you know Stan cares about these kids.
Yes.
Because he's been looking for shortcuts the whole time. Mm-hmm. Because he's a grifter. Because, like, this is what he does. And he's like, nope, I've made peace with it. I'm good.
I'm good. Can I just say, while we're talking about this scene, even though it is towards the end of the episodes, well, it doesn't matter.
I have a feeling, just full disclosure, I have a feeling we're going to just be talking about moments of these 4 episodes. Yeah. Friends, as always, you should watch the episodes for yourself. Highly recommend. Yeah. The show is great. But anyway, Danielle, continue.
I, in addition to all of that, I love his last line before he disappears. Speaking of, like, loving schmaltz. When he's like, all the mist is going around and he's holding the picture and he goes, guess I was good for something after all. Like, Grunkle Stan. Oh, no.
I know.
My heart.
Just like,
I gotta admit, my favorite, like, yes, I love the picture moment, but, like,
that's my second to last favorite. Not second to last. Second, I can't
penultimate?
Yes. What's the word for that involves the word second? Second favorite. That's my second favorite episode line in these episodes.
What's the first one? No, wait. Before is it related to being in Stan's head?
No.
Okay, before we get off that topic completely, my favorite thing about that is all that Stan's head is.
Yes.
Is his living room in the shack.
Well, so I was actually thinking about that.
Like, I know we've been there before. Like, we've been in there before. But, like, this is all he has reserved for Bill. And it's like the only important thing in here is that photograph and making sure Bill stays in here.
Yes.
Basically locks him in his own mind. I'm sorry, Jill, continue.
Oh, I was thinking about that on this most recent watch through. Like, I'm pretty sure that Stan specifically constructed that mindscape for Bill. Like,
yeah, I would 100% believe
like,
that.
that, I don't know, that just requires a lot of like will and force of will and manifestation.
I mean, listen, there are few people in this show who are as stubborn as Grunkle Stan. So I kind of, I love that interpretation of it, because it's like, hey, listen, when you're a stubborn man like that, it can make you really difficult to get along with, but sometimes it's your superpower.
Yep.
I also just like the last time we were in Stan's mind, it was
a mess.
It was like a non-consensual, like he wasn't trying.
Right.
Right? Like he had, they like shoved a helmet onto him or whatever it was so many episodes ago while he was sleeping, I think. So I just love that this is like, he is conscious and he will control every single thing you see in here.
Yep.
Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100% believe that he's just like, here's all my brain you're going to get, buddy. I'm surprised you didn't recognize it. I also love one of those last digs at Bill before he's disintegrated.
Yeah, that last punch is super solid. Is that what you were talking about? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of the most satisfying punches
very
of media.
Well, I would have been very sad had Stan not resorted to physical violence in his own head. Because we've already established that he's kind of a thug.
Right.
And I'm just like, but you're not, but you would punch him. You would punch him. This is correct for your character.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a pretty good segue to one thing I wanted to talk about, which is that part of what I think makes these episodes so fun is that it's like very, on a certain level, it's like very fun fanfic.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It's like, okay, everyone who deeply loves this show, the world is ending, right? Pick a favorite character, tell me what that character would do. Real quick, RP it,
Yep.
And they all do it perfectly. And I know it's sort of a TV tropey thing, like, oh, let's bring back all these characters from previous episodes or seasons, but I love it. I still love it. Like, I love that we get to multi-bear, and I love that everyone has an extremely specific role in this entire adventure.
I love that the multi-bear gets a sweater specifically knit for the multi-bear.
Specifically knit for him. He's also the one who's, like, looking out through the lookout things in the Shacktron, because he can see in multiple directions. Like, see, it all makes sense. That's what I mean. Like, it's so
also,
fun.
Yeah.
I just love that the multi-bear is Alfred Molina. Like,
oh yes,
yeah. I mean, one of the greatest actors of our time.
Yeah, and he's just the multi-bear. Love it. Here for it.
Best.
So obviously, my favorite callback was the multi-bear, but I also loved, like, like the random little golf balls that are just kind of like popping into random scenes.
Like the French one.
The French one. I don't think that's French.
I don't think that's French.
I don't think that's French.
Did you all have favorite callbacks?
I think all of my favorite callbacks were in Mabel.
Oh, fair.
Although there were a few in Stan's in the Mystery Shack. I'm just trying to like run through the characters in my head real fast.
I love Mad Max Grenda.
Mad Max Grenda, so good. I mean, listen.
I also love that Grenda was the dinosaur.
Yes, she was the one. Well, she and Candy were controlling the arms. Yeah, that was fantastic. It was one of those moments.
But she was specifically the dinosaur.
Yes.
Which was my
she would have fought anyone who tried to take that from her.
I'm gonna bottle it. Dinosaur head. Yeah, no, it's all yours.
Right, like
there were
so many moments in this episode where I was like, "This is right. This is correct." And some of them were things that I was able to predict, not in a bad way. It's just like I saw McGucket's robot coming a mile away. But it's like it had to happen. How do you not bring that back? In fact, I would have been upset if they hadn't, right?
But it's done so organically.
Yes.
I also like his little prayer right before they turn it on of just like, hopefully this doesn't go some of the way my other inventions have gone. And I was always surprised. I'm always surprised every time I watch it that no one goes, wait, what?
Well, I feel like they all know who McGucket is. Like they all know this. They're not surprised.
I know, but it's that moment of like, but do they all know that McGucket, like, not everybody knows that he lost his memory and he was a genius.
Right.
Like, or do they? You know what I mean? Like, that's why when nobody said, wait, but why? But what? When nobody said that, I was like, so do we all just know that he invented the thing that wipes your memories and that he used to be Stanford's partner and that that there used to be this secret cabal that was removing people's memory? Like, do we all just know? Which is fine.
It's unclear.
We're allowed to just know, but it was like, it's kind of unclear. But that, everybody stamp your bingo card. It was kind of unclear.
I don't know. It's kind of unclear.
I don't know when that started. Was that Fringe?
No, I think that we started that,
was
Joy.
Kipo?
No,
Was it
in
Kipo?
season 1. Literally season 1. When there would be like a science thing, and we'd be like, how does that work? It's kind of unclear.
Kind of unclear. I guess we didn't need to know. It's kind of unclear. Oh yeah, like the mask, the spray that lets you come up fuzzy on the or too bright on the security camera. How does that work? We don't know. We don't.
And we don't
Kind
have
of
to
unclear.
know.
I 100% believe that happened in season 1. Almost Human, for those of you who are more recent listeners. That is a heck of a show.
Heck of a show.
Sure is. Yeah, I think I like that the boy band shows up in both places.
Oh yeah.
I like that the boy band was saved from the forest of weird.
I have several injuries.
I like that the gnomes are there, and I like that Stan already has a plan to eat them when the meat runs out. Schmebulock lives.
Schmebulock!
Just get that knitted on a t-shirt.
One of the things that I really appreciate about Gravity Falls is that because it's such... Go with me on this one, guys. I'm sorry. Because it's such a pre-2016 piece of media, all of the conspiracy theory stuff is funny and cute and like, everyone knows that old crackpot who listens to AM radio. It's just Dale Gribble all the way down. But like, it's just such a time capsule because I think that I guess they did go on to make Inside Jobs, so never mind.
I was going to say, I was like, well, is it?
But that one at least wasn't aimed at children.
It's very true.
Fair. This is fair. I think I always kind of look at Gravity Falls as the people who watched X-Files and the people who watched Fringe and the people who watched all those other shows of like, the government is probably hiding something from you. It's probably aliens or it's probably Bigfoot or it's, insert one of these things here. I like that Gravity Falls is sort of an oasis for the overlap between the fans of that show and the fans who are just like, but also fiction.
Yeah.
It's also fiction, guys. It's also fiction. And there's something really nice about that. There's something about that you can still have this, I don't want to say crossover, but I feel like the Venn diagram is almost a circle with the people who like have fun with the conspiracy theories on this show. It's almost like the Swiftie fandom. I feel like the Taylor Swift fandom gets very, to be fair, Taylor Swift does this to her own fans, but they get very decodey with a lot of things.
Oh, you
and
mean
Taylor
like
Swift
they
will
try to
give
read
them
between the lines?
Yeah,
okay.
Taylor Swift will actually give them puzzles, and then they'll be like,
we need
to
manifest an H-bomb video tackling the
Swifties.
The Swiftie conspiracies.
I mean, look, some of them are kind of bonkers. Like, I have a friend who is a huge Taylor Swift fan, but she's not terribly big into puzzles. But she'll follow other people who are just like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe that's right. You know, I feel it feels a little bit like, and of course there are some people who go a little too hard with it, where they're just like, she's giving us secret messages and a whatever. And Taylor Swift is like, oh, sure I am. Like, she hadn't even thought about that puzzle. But like,
sometimes a green tea cookie recipe is just a green tea cookie recipe, y'all.
Just a green tea cookie recipe. I know 13 is her favorite number, but sometimes 13 also happens every month. You know, like, it's one of those things. And it just, like, I like the idea that this is, like, the level of conspiracy we get with Gravity Falls feels like that. It feels like the fans are having fun with the creators had fun with it. Like, there was a lot of just, like, banter throughout the show, like, yes, conspiracy theory, no conspiracy theory. Also, poor Tad Strange.
Tad Strange.
I think a lot of that goes back to having Josh Weinstein on the crew.
Yeah,
because a lot of that,
I would agree with that.
A lot of that is like stuff from like even early Futurama, where like you have like the secret codes, like the alien languages, and you know, stuff that they were foreshadowing in like the very first episode that, you know, wouldn't come to fruition for, you know, years and years and years.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that with shows like this.
Right.
You know, like I mean, again, they have a lot of fun with it, but there are definitely other shows also that like have this kind of conversation with their fans through the show.
Right.
Which I think is pretty great. And some of that is just the predictive nature of the tropes in the show too, and just being able to like use that to like its fullest extent. But yeah, no, 100%. The fandom has fun with these theories. Like, I haven't run into a Gravity Falls theory that's like grimdark. I don't think any of them. Like, there are a few fans who have headcanons about Ford's travels throughout like the multiverse when he was like stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, my dude went through some heavy things. Like, I 100% believe that.
Right.
But also put the brother who is pragmatic and reasonable and somewhat of a robot through the heavy things. Like, this is what you do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Grunkle Stan wouldn't have lasted 2 weeks. I guarantee you. He would either have died immediately or become a boss of a small planet.
That one.
Become like a mafia boss. But like, he wouldn't have been researching. He wouldn't have been doing any of it. Like, he wouldn't have been traveling is my point. Like, he would have been in one place and either died in a random alien encounter.
Punched the wrong alien. Or
become a boss of a small alien moon. Sorry?
He punched the wrong alien.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was like, you looking at me with all 6 of your eyes?
Like, if you go on to, you know, fanfiction.net, Jesus, what year is it?
To the pit.
To the pit. If you go on like AO3, I mean, there's so many stories that, you know, do exactly that. Like, what happened to Ford, or, you know,
I love that stuff.
What would have happened if Stan had gone through the portal, or if one of the kids had gone through the portal, or, you know,
I love stuff. I mean, obviously I haven't read any of it, but I love stuff I love media that allows for holes like that. I mean, sometimes there are too many holes. Like Good Omens.
Oh, no.
People didn't say it with their whole chest, and now everyone's making stuff up.
Right.
But
tell us how you really
eventually
feel,
we'll talk about it. Good Omens will have a season 3, and then we'll talk about it on this show. We'll find the one person on the planet who hasn't seen Good Omens. We'll make them watch
it. The one person. I love it.
And have them on the show. But yeah, I think sort of getting back to the somewhat order of operations for these episodes. I like that we're just sort of thrown right into the apocalypse immediately.
Yeah.
When episode, is it 18? Yeah, episode 18 starts. It's just like, and here, and Bill's in charge. And, yep. Mm-hmm. And that's, yep. Mm.
And thus begins the apocalypse. I love that the townspeople fight back. I love that they don't just accept Bill as their leader.
Almost immediately.
Except for Pacifica's father, of course.
Preston Northwest is like, I, for one, welcome our new ant overlords. And immediately, F's around and finds out.
Okay, that moment gets easily into the top 10 horror moments in this series. Easily.
Hey kids, want some body horror?
I think we've already established that Gravity Falls is very good at body horror.
Yes.
It's not quite, I feel like it's on par. For me, it's on par with what are we calling that thing? The twin monster?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what we called it, but I know what you're talking about.
When the shapeshifter was...
Yeah, when the shapeshifter becomes both of the twins, and then it's like a confusing mishmash of body parts. Like, I feel like Pacifica's dad is like right up there. Like, it's not number one because the twin monster is horrible and we hate it. But like, it's a very close number two for me because all I could think of was how instantly your entire body can't function if you move around your eyes and your nose and your mouth and your ears. Like your windpipe would no longer work. Like he's instantly choking, and I was just like, "Oh, nope."
No. And it happened.
Do not want.
So quickly. It happened so quickly and so suddenly. I was not expecting it. I mean, I think we're talking like 4 minutes into the episode.
Yeah. No, it
happens immediately. Immediately. Like the mayor is like, we don't take from nobody. And then someone else says something, and then Pacifica's dad also says something, and then it's like, oh, bam. You no longer have a face. That makes sense.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
Okay, wait. And then this is followed immediately by everyone running away, getting turned to stone, including Deputy Derlant.
I know.
I couldn't not mention the sheriff and his deputy because they get a through line.
They get the big romantic ending.
They really do.
I know.
They're like the E plot in these last 3 to 4 episodes because they keep coming back.
I know. I just love that Blubs is on like team extraction.
Yes.
When it comes down to it, because he was one of the people that was instantly like, I need to be there. I need to be there when he wakes up. I'm going.
My precious Deputy Derlant.
I love them. And I hope they have many, many children together. 100%.
100%. Okay. So Bill establishes his reign. We get the weirdness waves. Everything is strange.
We get all the individual monsters that he conjures through the monsters are great. Who's your favorite monster?
I have no idea. I don't think I can pick one. I kind of love the giant, like, flat-faced one that becomes...
The one that's like a loaf of bread with legs and arms?
Yes. Like, I kind of love that one. Weirdly.
It's just built like a giant battering ram.
But I also kind of like the glowy pink one.
Oh, the glowy pink one's kind of fun. I do like the one who's obviously feminine.
Yes.
Who's obviously like a woman of the night.
Yes. Okay, that's a pretty good one too.
Voiced by Danielle Fishel.
But it's just like, I don't know what your
television's
set is. I don't fully understand. Nice. I'm glad they were able to get her. But like, I don't fully understand what you're here to do other than look awesome and obviously kill things and eat things. But like, what?
I mean, sometimes that's an important job.
Sometimes that's just it.
Sometimes that's just it. Yeah. I think my favorite one is, I think that's a good way to describe it, Joy. Loaf of bread with legs.
There's, I don't remember what to call it, but there's like a series of blocks that's multicolored lights.
Yeah.
And it looks like just a line from a crossword.
Oh, yeah. Almost like a walking Tetris piece.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what its name is.
I don't remember any of the names. There were so many names.
I can tell you their names because I'm looking at the thing.
Sure.
8-Ball. Kryptos. I believe Kryptos is the guy you're talking about. No, he's the one. He's the one that's like a Mason symbol.
Okay. Oh no, yeah.
Xanthar is loaf of bread guy. Teeth is obvious.
Name who must not be said. No, what the hell, Xanthar.
Let's see, we've got.
It's like the only reason I remember Xanthar's name.
Is the weird lips with the mustache.
Oh yeah,
right.
Amorphous shape. Doesn't even have a picture. Oh no, the amorphous shape is the weird crossword guy.
Ah, there you go.
Okay.
Amorphous shape.
Perfect.
That makes sense.
I love that it's amorphous shape because that's absolutely perfect. I wonder if the writers of the show learned the word amorphous the way I learned the word amorphous.
How did you learn the word amorphous?
So I learned the word amorphous from a movie that Christopher Walken was in, where he plays a gangster. And oh no.
Okay, I learned what a nom de plume is because of Aladdin.
I love that. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's actually from, oh my God. Is it really from that movie?
What movie?
Is it?
I bet I haven't seen it.
They're saying Kangaroo Jack, and I'm like, I wasn't fully aware that I had seen Kangaroo Jack. Yeah, so amorphous means, all my brain can think of is like to splat.
Yeah.
It's basically like a non-shape shape.
Yeah, without form.
Of just like, it's asymmetrical. Because the line is, when Jimmy got whacked, his head was amorphous. But can't you hear it in Christopher Walken's voice?
Amorphous.
Like, when Jimmy got whacked, his head was amorphous. Like.
Okay, we have to go back to Gravity Falls.
Yes.
We do.
The weirdness bubbles.
The weirdness bubbles. I love the weirdness bubbles. What do you think about the weirdness bubbles?
I love
a weirdness bubble that shows you different kinds of animation.
Yes, that was the fun part. Like, I love the part where Dipper and Wendy are being chased by, Gideon and his Mad Max pals.
Yes.
And then we get, like, bird versions of them and anime versions of them.
Live action
the anime
versions of them.
And the live version.
The live version's so good with the voice actors, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, was that the voice actor's job?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like,
amazing.
I recognized, I'm totally blanking on her name, but I
Linda
recognized...
Cardinelli.
Yes, I recognize Linda Cardinelli, and then so I just assumed that the other person must be the voice actor for Dipper.
Jason Ritter.
So Lower Decks wasn't the first.
Hey.
Only true nerds will understand. I'm just kidding. You're still a true nerd, even if you haven't seen Lower Decks.
We don't gatekeep nerds here.
We don't. Nerd out what you're gonna nerd out about, bro. No, yeah, I loved that shot. I loved Gideon and Ghost Eyes. Ghost Eyes, the philosopher.
I love Ghost Eyes. He's so
Ghost
funny.
Eyes is one of those characters that feels like, when you're watching a cartoon and you sit there. This is sort of true of like all of Bill's henchmen as well. Like a cartoonist will draw something and be like, all right, what's his name? And they'll like forget to give the guy pupils.
Yeah. You're like, something
and
is
someone
wrong,
else in the room will go, Ghost Eyes, buddy, where's his pupils? And then it's like, well, fine. He just doesn't have them now.
That's just his name. Jinx.
That's just his
name. You have pointed out his defining feature, which will now be what we call him.
I feel like I have to say out loud because no one who's listening to this audio medium could possibly figure this out. But Joy and I simultaneously said, that's just his name, and did the exact same head shake, head bobble. It was all the same.
See, this is what, well, we don't have to have video, as I've said multiple times, but this is also where I'm just like, But we could also have video because I feel like we're very entertaining to watch while we talk about nonsense.
Oh, wait, I forgot. My favorite form of Dipper and Wendy is when they're made of breakfast food.
Yeah.
Was it made of breakfast food or made of meat?
I thought it was... I remember, like, bacon. I thought I remembered eggs, but maybe I'm remembering wrong. Is it meat?
It's meat, and I'm pretty sure that it's a reference to a game called Super Meat Boy.
Oh! I thought I spotted eggs, but I could have just, like, 100% made that up.
As long as they're not made of worms, which is what Mabel Land is really made of.
Yeah, that makes the top 10 too, I think. Okay, we have to fast forward. Let's fast forward to episode 19. Escape from reality. Which, I mean, listen, we're basically already there anyway. Because Dipper and Wendy get chased by Gideon and his Mad Max gang, right? And then it's revealed that Mabel is trapped in this giant bubble that Gideon is responsible for guarding. Which brings us to episode 19. Dipper has to enter Mabel's bubble and retrieve her so that they can work together to free Ford. Obviously, Dipper is useless without his twin.
Has the most Rainbow Bright key I've ever seen to get into that bubble. I was like, you just straight up yoinked that from Rainbow Bright.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Which you understood that reference,
I did!
Danielle.
Thanks to you!
So I, like, as soon as they drop in there, Dipper is just so alert for danger.
Yes!
And it's just, they're met by, what were the boys' names again?
Xyler and Kraz. Xyler is spelled with an X.
I love Xyler.
You bet it is. You can't spell Xyler without an X. It's like xylophone, which is amazing.
Yes, it is. I love Xyler.
Did you just get really excited as a speech teacher?
I was like, look, it's a thing that makes sense.
What also has this same X sound? I appreciate that they drop into this world and Dipper is ever vigilant for danger. And much like when you go to the fairy realm, don't eat or drink anything.
Don't eat or drink anything. Don't trust anyone. Don't agree to anything, certainly. Now, Dipper does agree.
It's the land of fairy rules. Don't make any deals. You can't lie. And don't eat the food.
Yes, exactly. Except that Dipper is forced to make a deal, which leads us to our little courtroom drama, which I kind of love.
Did you
By the way, the judge
who voiced the judge?
I was going to look it up, and then I was like, Jill will tell me.
I did not look it up, but it sounded familiar.
Like
Jon Stewart.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
I was like, I'm one of those. It was one of those voices where I was like, I know I've heard this voice before, but I cannot in this moment place it. Jill will tell me.
I choose to believe that the judge cat is the evolved form of Johnny Tea Time.
Johnny Tea Time? I was going to say...
He's 100% the evolved form of Johnny Tea Time.
I was going to say either that or he fits perfectly into the cat tribe from Kipo. That's what he reminded me.
I don't know who Johnny Tea Time is.
Oh, so Johnny Tea Time is from Centaur World.
Oh, gosh.
Centaur World.
No, I've watched that. Now I'm trying to remember which character that is.
Johnny Tea Time is the cat that is in charge of... What was the area called, Danielle?
I'm terrible
at
the
names.
Land of Cats. The Land of Cats. The one who is involved in the beauty pageant?
Yeah, who has a contest every day.
Yes.
And you win Johnny Tea Times. It's Johnny Tea Times something contest. Oh, no.
It's basically just cats, but on Centaur World.
Yes. Centaur cats.
It's cat-tars.
Cat-tars.
Cat-tars. But yes, there is a song that is literally just like cats. Because it's all gibberish.
Yes. No, I did see Centaur World. It's just been a
Johnny
minute.
Tea Time's Be Best competition. And it's a tiny little cat which actually I think the coloring's a little bit wrong between that cat and this cat, but it's like a tiny brown cat with like reddish hair, cat tar with reddish hair on his head, and he literally all he does all day is sleep and wake up to judge the competition, and then he goes back to sleep.
Back to sleep.
And he's perfect. We love him.
We love him. And this is his, his second form, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. No one will convince me otherwise. I am utterly convinced that this is also Johnny Tea Time. Like, my headcanon is just like, this is same cat.
All right.
Same cat.
Same cat.
Same energy. Also a judge.
When he gets distracted by the yard. So cute.
Why is it there? I feel like we put distractions there just to placate him, but also to see if he gets distracted. Just the best.
Just the best.
The absolute best.
Any hoozles, this episode is fantastic, partly because Mabeland is very entertaining.
Oh my god.
There are parts of it that are very entertaining, things like Xyler and Kraz, and there are parts of it that are horrifying, like not Wendy turning into a pile of bugs.
Yeah. Definitely on one of the more disturbing.
Animal tree.
Yeah.
I'm so
the stuffed
happy.
animal tree.
Oh yeah, go.
Well, so the thing about the stuffed animal tree is it already has that uncanny valley because it's done in such an old style of animation.
Yeah.
That my whole brain almost short-circuited immediately, where I was just like, something's wrong.
This is wrong.
Something is wrong with that tree.
Yeah.
Like, it's giving Looney Tunes and Fantasia.
Yes.
Well, it was giving like the dancing, like the dancing skeleton, or some of the Christmas cartoons that I showed you, Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
It was giving like the Jack Frost
Like
cartoon.
the
that I showed
2Dist
you.
of 2D. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it's somehow more 2D
It's
than
the
everything
singing
else.
owl cartoon. Like the singing owl cartoon has a lot of uncanny valley in it if you watch it,
Yes.
and it's just like,
What's happening here?
why do the faces look a little too anthropomorphic? Just a little.
Okay, I'm so happy that Dipper clocked not Wendy. I'm so
Oh, no, me
happy
too.
that Dipper clocked not Wendy. Like
He's learning.
he's learning. And how sad that the way that he clocks that it's not Wendy is that she says we could be together. And he's like, no. This is real.
The way he clocks it is the wink.
Yeah. That's true.
Like I think he was already kind of suspicious about it, but then the wink happened and it's like, oh, no. Definitely not. Because the
this
wink
is not Wendy.
the wink was how he knew which Wendy was Wendy in the bunker.
Yes, that's right. I
completely
forgot about
missed
that.
that she winked. I missed that she winked completely. I felt like he clocked it because there was suddenly this golden lordly light right behind her.
Also that.
And I was like, even Dipper. I was like, look, Dipper might really, really want this with all of his heart, but even Dipper, who I don't believe is a romantic, would have been like, this is too, it's a little bit like it's too perfect. Like there was a flash mob and suddenly music was playing and then people were dancing and then suddenly someone ended up on their knee. Like it was like, no. Wendy rejected me, and I have accepted that.
Yes. And then she becomes worms.
And then she becomes worms and cockroaches,
Bugs.
I think.
Yeah.
I got or beetles of some kind.
It's
I'm
just
pretty sure they were roaches.
It's just a
Bugs.
pile of bugs.
Bugs.
She
Pile
just
of
became
bugs.
the juicy
Pile of
roach.
bugs.
Sorry, I've been watching too much Dimension 20. Those are jokes just for me and for people who like to watch Dropout.
And for you.
For all those Dropout fans, what up? So Dipper has a will strong enough to break the hold that this place has.
Yes.
You know, I know that it's how the story had to go to make the story go where it needed to go. I still call shenanigans on that. I'm sorry. There is not a 12-year-old boy in the world who has that kind of willpower. The
only reason I buy it a little bit is kind of what Joy was saying before, which is that Dipper knows that he's in Mapleland, and Dipper knows that something's up. Right. You know? Like, I think that if he had just woken up in a world that he had constructed the way Mabel woke up in a world that she had constructed, I don't think he would have clocked it either.
Yeah.
But I think he went in, like, hackles raised, you know?
And I think also he is avoiding... I mean, I do agree with you, Jill, that, like, no preteen would have refused. However, I feel like he's actively running away from the quote-unquote thing he wants most in the world. Because it's just, you know, like, she goes to open a door and he's just like, no. It's like, you know, Dipper's the William Shatner in, like, Star Trek V. What does God need with a starship? You know, like, it's a real...
What does Wendy need with a dipper?
What does Wendy need with a dipper? Wendy no like Dipper. We've already established this.
Why would Wendy want Dipper when she is Dippy Fresh?
Oh.
She does have Dippy Fresh.
Danielle, I'm impressed. I have been in and around this fandom for years, and that might be the single most unsettling thing I have ever heard about Gravity Falls.
I want that Wendy is into Dippy Fresh.
That is... wow.
You know, I think he was also, like, yes, he was already suspicious. I think he's already suspicious instantly as soon as she sits down. Right? Because isn't the first words out of his mouth something like, I thought you guys were going to be over at the high school. I thought you were at the high school.
And she's like, it didn't turn out to be as cool as I thought.
It got boring. Mm-hmm. Turns out you don't have to turns out it's kind of boring to get everything you wanted. And I feel like Dipper would be like, what? Mm-hmm. I mean, the other thing is, like, Wendy is the first one to point out shenanigans.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of... So there's an episode of Steven Universe, which I guess we'll never watch for the show because we're only ever watching the wedding episode.
Yes.
I think as previously established. Wedding episode and nothing else. But there's a great episode of Steven Universe where blah, 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 it's complicated. But Steven essentially gets... a version of... What's his best friend's name again? Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Connie?
Connie!
Yes.
I was like, C name. And, like, utterly failing. Connie.
Wow. My whole brain just zapped out.
Sometimes it'd be like that, man.
Yeah. So, Steven gets a version of Connie that he thinks he wants. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a really interesting sort of conversation of, like, how do you be, like, a supportive friend, but also have your own opinion, but also be able to voice that opinion and have boundaries. Like, it's a really interesting episode. And it basically takes this thing that happened with Wendy and Dipper and stretches it out into almost the entire episode.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I couldn't help but think of that because I was like, yeah, but Connie would instantly be like, I mean, you should have your opinion. I love that you love schmaltz, but I didn't see it that way, and that's okay. We can both like things differently,
right?
And it's just a real, like, Dipper being like, you never agree with me this much,
yeah.
Like, I just feel like Wendy has constant, like, dude, get out of your own head. What are you talking about? What's happening? So I like that it was instantly like, why are you agreeing with me?
Yeah. Like, something's up.
Why are you, like, flirting? Like, not flirting, but, like...
She was flirting. There was flirting.
Yeah. There were vibes.
Well, it's like, if only you were older.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Wendy would never.
Never.
You're also seriously not Wendy's type. Even a little bit. I'm sorry, bro. Even if you were older... Well, even if you were older, no, that's not. First of all, Wendy is not interested in relationships. Wasn't there that, like, throwaway line earlier in the series about how Wendy has, like, 1 million exes?
Yes.
Like, she's not interested in consistently dating anyone, my dude.
Certainly not right now.
No.
Certainly not right now. It was just, like, it was so instantly wrong immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that little scene. And then we get the courtroom.
I love the courtroom.
Courtroom is fun. My favorite part of the courtroom is obviously the smushy bit we get right at the end. But is there any, which I'm very happy to talk about.
They're all squishies.
Yes. But is there stuff beyond the smushy bit at the end?
I mean,
I like
the lawyers. I like the two boys being
the Pug Sundays.
Ladies of the jury. He's looking at me.
When she gets so excited, she tumbles off.
Yes, one of them just rolls off the jury stand. I love them throughout this whole episode. There was something about those two that I was just like, oh no. And then by the end of the episode, we don't know if they're real or not.
It's the end of the episode where they're like looking at the sunset quoting Sartre. That's just...
Yes. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Are they real? You decide.
Like, we're teaching the kids about French nihilism real young. Or I guess it's existentialism, but...
But I mean, again, even with what happened to them, felt like a mistake from earlier in the episode, and they didn't have time to go back and animate it.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a mistake that they were like, oh, they were supposed to turn into worms too. Maybe we missed it. We don't have the money to go back and fix it. Maybe we could just do this instead.
Maybe we just lampshade the hell out of it.
But giant Waddles doesn't turn against Dipper and the crew.
Well, because he's actually Waddles.
I actually wrote in my notes that Giant Waddles is real.
Giant Waddles would never. Giant Waddles would never.
Can I just tell you my favorite thing about Giant Waddles?
Yes.
Is that assuming Waddles just wanted to do what Waddles wanted to do, is literally just picking people up, bringing them places, and going back to sleep, and then rinse, repeat.
Also, his little eye spot was a star.
I know, his little star spot.
Waddles got a cutie mark.
Got a cutie mark. I love the end of the courtroom scene, and I know that it's like, well, it's schmaltzy, but it reminded me
allowed to be schmaltzy.
Because I'm seeing all of this out of order. Although actually, like, when did Inside Out come out? Because the end of this,
it was much later.
Okay, that's what I figured. Because like the end of this, the end of this courtroom scene very much reminded me of Inside Out.
Inside Out came out in 2015.
Oh, hey! And this would have aired in 2016.
So this would have aired early. So this aired early February 2016. Or I guess end of February. But like
this might be another one of those situations where a really good idea came up just sort of in the I don't know, in the mix of things,
the ether.
Exactly.
In the ambient zeitgeist, collective unconscious.
Exactly. Like the way that the memories shift, right? And we get to see like the negative side of all of the memories. And then all Dipper has to do is flip it around and say like, okay, but like think about, like extend those memories very slightly. And he turns them all into memories of them supporting each other. It was so sweet. But the reason I brought up Inside Out is it's very much like that moment in the show where it's like sadness was always there, right? And then we flip the memories and we get to see that sadness and joy are hand in hand. But
oh no, 100%. I love that it's just the natural progression of like, it's a very visceral interpretation of that old trope of saying you can't have happiness without sadness and you can't have like good days without bad days,
right?
And stuff like that. And I love it when they're actually able to like really convey it. Just really show it to me. Yes. And I feel like with the twins, with both sets of twins, they're able to really do that.
Which brings us to our either two 22-minute installments with a recap by Seuss.
Yes,
or
with the
recap a 44-minute monstrosity of finale.
My favorite, real quick, my other favorite thing that happens in Mabelland is Zeus's dad is the
luchador mask.
Oh yeah,
in the luchador mask. Favorite thing, especially since the dad basically shows up and he's like, "Well, son, because you do not know what I look like." And I'm just like, Zeus, he's obviously not real. He's so obviously not real.
Zeus, don't.
No.
But Zeus would never
No matter what he says,
his...
buddy, I'm on your side.
True.
Do you want to play catch?
But again, like, who would say no? You know what I mean?
Yes, and
I mean, not Zeus.
Zeus would never question his reality the way Dipper would question his reality.
Yeah.
Well,
you know?
actually, no. I'll let me flip this around a second.
Okay.
He knows it's not real. He doesn't care.
Yeah, fair.
Like the way Zeus interacts with the world, he just sort of goes with the flow and just rolls with it. And if he ends up in a magic bubble where he can play catch with his dad, okay.
He's gonna play catch with his dad.
He's gonna go play catch with his dad.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense, actually. And
so it's not a like him trusting the reality or what have you. It's he sort of takes the world as it comes at him, rolls with every punch, and just goes, "Yep, all right." Like that happened when he turned into a pig. That happened when he got lost in the maze. That happened when he was questioning the question mark. Like Giffany?
Giffany! I was gonna say, he rolls with the punches until it really matters, which happens right at the end of this show, so we can't talk about it right now.
Okay.
Except we can, obviously, because we're talking about everything out of order.
Right. So we'll get there in about 10 minutes.
Maybe.
But yeah, the talk about body horror. Can we talk about how Bill drinks out of his eyeball?
There was a lot of body horror in these last few episodes.
It clocked so hard for me that I just like physically recoiled.
Oh no.
I don't know what was going through my head, but I was suddenly blank.
Oh, no.
I was like, no, I have left my body. I have completely disassociated. We are no longer having this conversation. The show is not playing on my computer. Good day.
Did we discuss the throne of human agony? Did we say those words? Okay, well now we have said them.
Now we have said them. So Bill has to, we kind of glossed over this to begin with, but Bill has to resurrect Ford because he's pretty sure Ford can understand why Bill can't leave Gravity Falls. So he does, and Ford is like, except I have to let you in because I've got a metal plate in my head.
Okay, hold on.
Smarter than that.
Before you continue, I hate to interrupt, but I do have to say,
please,
why the heck would Ford tell Bill that there is a simple equation that can be used to undo this bubble?
My guess is it doesn't exist and he was bluffing the whole time.
I don't think so. I don't think that's right.
No, I'm like, wait a minute. Why would he tell Bill there's a simple equation? So now obviously Bill's going to try to get into his head.
I feel like Ford is the kind of, okay, this is going to get sort of weirdly existential, but come with me.
We were already talking about animated characters talking about Sartre, so like.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, probably in that light, it won't get nearly as existential, but we'll see what happens. I think there's a certain kind of person who, and I don't know, maybe it's born out of tisms, and I shouldn't poke at it too hard, because I would 100% believe that Ford is on a tism spectrum of some kind.
Yeah. Oh, no.
He is neurodivergent as heck.
There's not a neurotypical person in that family.
Absolutely
not one single one. Oh, but you're saying that, like, if he knows that he understands something, he's going to tell you that he understands it? Or is it like Bill asked a question and so he answered? Both. Jinx.
I feel like it's a very specific person that when something is asked of them, they have to answer the question and they have to answer it truthfully.
Yeah.
They cannot lie because lying never serves a purpose. And 3, they don't want to come across as useless in a very specific way. Now, that is not relegated to the Tisms, but I feel like Ford is also that. Anybody who questions Ford's, like, worth or the reason he's there or anything like that is, like, such a hot button issue for Ford that he's just like, obviously, I know how to beat you.
Yeah.
I've known how to beat you this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, why do you think I am doing what I'm doing? You know, like, I'm just sitting here like, I don't know, man. I feel like Ford didn't really have a plan. He just kind of blurted that out because he's got the metal plate in his head.
Right.
And he's like, and I'll never agree to bring you in. Why would I? But yeah, I 100% know how to take that down. It's a nuisance. I don't like it either. You know?
I'm trying to remember.
I'm sorry, Jill. You were going to say something.
Oh, I was going to say that vibe of character where, like, if they're asked a question, they have to answer it. Have either of you watched Reacher?
No, I don't think so.
I feel like I watched the first episode and then nothing else.
So I have found the way to market Reacher that they didn't figure out because everyone I have said this to is like, oh, okay, now I'm into it.
Yeah.
See, the thing about Reacher is he's real big and he's very autistic and he kills a lot of people.
Oh.
Okay, then. I didn't think were all true at the same time.
And that's it. That's the show.
That's the show.
He's just this very, very large dude who is just not neurotypical in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. Who just kills a lot of people. It's a great show. I binged it over the weekend. I mean, strong recommend. But he's got that same thing.
Did you say like, every weekend? I love that.
Oh, no. I binged it this past weekend.
I heard you say every weekend and was like, that's a lot. That's more than I've seen The Magicians.
That would be impressive. That would be impressive.
That takes dedication also. As someone who professionally watches things over and over again, I have to tell you, that's a lot.
That's special.
To be fair, though, I have watched Has Been Hotel over and over again every day.
Your wife mentioned that to me the other day. I need to give it another watch through. I was not prepared for how deep that vocal cast bench is. I was not prepared for that, and also the music is so good and like a next order of magnitude of quality over what I was expecting for that show.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched a show that had so many musical numbers in it, where every single episode, every single song that dropped became my new favorite song.
Yeah.
I haven't had a show like that happen to me in a very long time. Every single time they have a song, I'm like, and this is my new favorite song, and this is my new favorite song, and this is they have 2 songs an episode.
Yeah.
I can't have 8 favorites.
Just watch you.
That's amazing. It's 1000% on my list. I just need to wait until I actually have the energy to really, really enjoy it. And then I'm going to watch it and then watch it again and again.
Fair warning for listeners who are interested in watching that show. It is not for the children.
Not a kid's show. Not all animated shows are in fact for children.
It is.
Yeah. There's, unless you want to explain a lot of curse words and prostitution and drug use,
sex work,
and serial killers, and
the hierarchy of
heaven
angels.
and hell in a broad scale. Especially if you're ultra religious, if you'd have a problem hearing the divine Adam curse every 2 seconds, I don't recommend it for you.
That scene was so good.
But everyone else. I mean, no, but no shame in that game. I know there are some folks who are just like, please don't take my religion and make it your toy, and I get it. But if you're not really into hearing the first man created just drop an F-bomb every 3 moments, just don't. Maybe just don't.
Just don't.
It's not for you.
Oh man.
What else about these?
Larry King's disembodied head wants num-nums.
I know. Forcing the stands to sit and talk was 100% a thing I wrote down.
I mean, if there were ever 2 people who needed the get along shirt.
I know.
A get along shirt.
Are you familiar with the get along shirt?
Yes,
Danielle?
I am. Yes. I mean, I'm aware of the concept. If you ask me where it came from, I'm like, So if it comes from a specific show or movie, then I don't know where it
was
from.
a thing I saw on Tumblr where it was like, if you,
I just know what
if you
it
and your
is.
sibling fight, you had to wear the get along shirt, and then it was just like endless reblogs of different siblings in fiction wearing the get along shirt, and everything was wonderful and nothing hurt.
Yeah.
You know, this was a concept that was around before Reddit.
The get along shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from.
I think it has become like a Reddit know your meme thing, which is, I don't know, man. I feel like the get along shirt is older than 2012.
Like it must be, but I don't know.
I just feel like as a concept, you know, like, look, parents raising siblings, twins especially, kudos to all of you, because, man, you're doing a great job. All parents everywhere. It's a hard job. I see you. I appreciate you.
We salute you, parents of the audience.
We salute you, parents. Parents of all children, especially twins.
Yeah.
Speaking of twins, so I spent some time with some friends this weekend. Friends were having a birthday. They decided to do a celebration because there were multiple birthdays in January. And so they just had like a big old party towards the end of the month. And it was great because there were a lot of people there that I hadn't seen since COVID, like since the very beginning, like January, February 2020. So it was really nice to reconnect. And of course, several of them have had COVID babies. So there were literally 3 and 4-year-olds like running around this house. And it was very cute. And they were very tuckered out by the end of the night. There were a lot of limp bodies going home. But my favorite set, and I know I shouldn't have favorites among my friends' kids, but between you and I,
you're only human.
My favorite set were the twins, who they're very sweet. I think they're like 2.5, almost 3. And they were off in their own corner, quietly playing house. Not even talking to each other.
Yeah.
While these and it's a boy and a girl twin, and they were just very in the zone and very much like, I am here, I am playing with my toys, I'm good. While 3 other boys who were 3 and 4 were literally running laps all around the house, and like this calm oasis of these twins.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I love everything about these two. They're just here. They're doing their own thing. They're doing their own thing together.
Yep.
Without communicating, which I thought was very cute.
Very cute.
I don't know, man. I was into it. They were also both wearing unicorn crowns. And when I asked their mother about it, she was like, well, my daughter really likes unicorns. And I think my son just also wanted to do that. I don't know if it's like a support thing or if he also likes unicorns. Hard to say.
One day we'll ask them.
One day we'll ask them and we'll find out.
And then we'll show them the masked maple corn and everything will be terrible.
Yes, exactly.
So the scene with Bill sort of, I'm just going to say it, trying to seduce Ford.
Yeah.
I saw in the run up to the final episode airing, they showed that scene, they posted it to Twitter, and the fandom lost their collective minds.
Ooh.
Because that's one of those the call is coming from inside the house kind of scenes where you're like, I know I'm not supposed to ship the scientist and his evil, triangle demon foe, but you're making it kind of hard not to do that.
Oh wait, so that scene had one of the 3 songs that they didn't write for this show.
Yep.
I caught it because you told me to keep an eye out for those, or ear out rather.
Yes. I do. I think I recall seeing that Alex Hirsch had just watched Dr. Strangelove and how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb. When they were in the process of storyboarding the episode or something, And so he went for that song, and Disney was like, I don't know. And he was like, I will fight.
Yeah.
I will fight
I
on
will
this
get
particular
this song.
moment.
And they were sort of like, it's the finale, just give it to him.
There's this interesting, like, now that you say it and put it in that context, there's this interesting idea, I think, that happened in the you know, in the aughts and the 2010s, where there was a lot of, I mean, I don't want to say queer baiting, because that's not really what's happening here, because Bill Cipher is like a megalomaniac eldritch horror that has godlike chaos powers.
Right.
So it's hard to be like, he's a dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think that was a trope that was going around pretty heavily between, like, 2010. I take it back. Probably between 2005 and 2015. Where there was a lot of, like... Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, but particularly, like, the hero of our story and the villain of our story are going to have a very intimate conversation, and they're going to be 3 inches away from each other's face. And, like... You know, it wasn't even necessarily queer baiting, but there was just a lot of, like, sexual
because
tension
of the implication.
necessarily need to be there. You know, it's like, I think we had the James Bond, too, that was just like...
Yes.
You know, the villain was just like, so have you played the honeypot? And James was like, of course I have. And it's just like, would you like to? And you know, touching each other's knees. Yeah. Which I'm sure the whole universe died over.
Just Javier Bardem and... Daniel Craig just making eyes at each other. I'd watch that for a while.
And like Sherlock and Moriarty, just like Moriarty just being like, but you're the best.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure there's like 1,000,001 Supernatural things too, because Supernatural is a giant fandom, and I can't name all the ships. They don't. We don't
have time for that, Joy. We're on a clock
15
here.
GD years.
Yeah.
We are on a clock. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting because I don't always clock stuff like that. Of course, now that you say it, it's just like, yeah, I mean, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. And there it is again. Yeah, I don't know why I love that scene so much. Although, maybe I was just completely taken out of it with my out-of-body experience because he drank his frickin' tea with his eye.
Yeah.
My whole body, I couldn't barely pay attention to the rest of the scene because I was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I'm done. I've checked out.
You can't use your eyelids to drink. No.
Not allowed.
Not with that attitude. You won't. No, not around me, you can't. I know I try not to kink shame, but this is one thing that
That's it. I'm kink shaming.
Not. That's it. It's happening. We'll see if that ends up in the final edit.
What if kink shaming is my kink?
Well, then do it silently.
Ooh, that's even hotter.
Exactly. There's this. It writes itself.
Yeah. It writes itself.
Hands down, one of my favorite exchanges is between Seuss and McGucket, where he's like, "I have seen a lot of anime, and trust me, you're gonna want some gun swords." And McGucket's like, "What's an anime?" And Seuss is like, "Oh, I have so much to teach you." And like, can you imagine McGucket watching Evangelion? I want to be the fly on that wall.
I hope
Get in
Seuss
the robot
didn't start there.
or Ford will have to do it again.
I mustn't run away.
I love the whole building a thing montage, actually.
I know.
I loved how that song cue was, hey, can we get the rights to the Pacific Rim music? No? All right, let's see what Brie can come up with.
Exactly. Like, you can copy my homework, but change it a little.
Exactly. And like, just as you're thinking, that can't be, that's not it. Then you see Grenda and Candy doing the Pacific Rim, and you're like, oh,
because they're each controlling part of the robot. It's so good. It's so good. Like, all of this.
Because they're already drifting.
I feel like I've essentially already gushed about the next 15 minutes of this episode, because the next 15 minutes of this episode is the perfect fanfic where everyone does the thing they are supposed to do. Well,
yeah.
Like Wendy,
I am
even
a little
like
sad
Wendy,
that we didn't get enough Candy. We didn't get enough Candy in this episode. I feel like she was very quiet.
Yeah, But
one of my favorite... Oh, sorry.
Where Grenda gets to shine, I feel like, you know?
True.
One of my favorite fan fiction tropes, pieces of like fanon instead of canon, is that Candy is herself a mechanical engineering genius and will sort of be taken under Fiddleford's wing.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
You need to have a... Oh, no. What's the name of that, like, young kid who ends up being, like, Tony Stark's apprentice?
Oh, I have no idea.
Riri? Oh, from Iron Man 3?
Or 2? 2 into something? I don't know. There's too many movies.
Honestly, I think it's in the comics. It's okay.
No, there's definitely a kid he holes up with in a garage, and then the kid shows up to his funeral. Like, is that the kid you're talking about?
Well, but there is a kid who, like, specifically works with him on stuff.
Yeah.
Like the kid,
they're like stuck in a garage
Spider-Man.
together
like
for a whole movie.
That's...
But I don't remember
they're
which
stuck
movie
in a garage
is.
together. But I'm like, and then the kid took something and built a suit and was like, "Here, Tony," and Tony was like, "What?"
Oh,
like the kid is the genius,
and
Tony nurtures it, but I can't remember the kid's name.
No idea. Sorry.
Is it Riri? Is it
This is what the internet is for. Oh, come on, buddy. Come on, man.
The girl we meet in the second Black Panther movie?
I think she's one of them in the comics. In the second Black Panther, right? Yeah, I think she's one of them.
Ironheart, that's her name.
Ironheart, yeah. It's gonna be so annoying. It's fine. Hey, listeners, get at us if you know who I'm talking about.
I wish I could help you, but I cannot. Okay, we have to get to the final bit of this episode.
Mm-hmm. Wait, didn't we already talk about the final bit? I thought we did.
Oh, I just meant like all the resolution.
Oh, the one more thing?
No, like all of the tying up of loose ends.
Oh, yes, yes.
All of the tying up of loose ends that happens.
So they defeat Bill.
Yes.
They defeat Bill. Stan loses his memory. Mm-hmm. And they're all, it's really bittersweet of just like, was it even worth it? I love that you can also tell it's Stan because he has the little W curly Q on his nose, and Ford doesn't have that. And that's the only really identifying mark. Like, yeah, he doesn't have the streak of gray.
There's one more.
But
there's one more. It's how I always tell them apart. Ford has a cleft chin.
I noticed the cleft chin when they switched roles in this particular episode.
Which is insane to me that one twin can have a cleft chin and one twin can't. Genetics are weird.
There was, I don't know if you remember in the Time Traveler's Pig, all the way back in the early season 1, there's this scene where Dipper and Mabel go to like 1982 and someone sticks their head out of the shack. Mm-hmm. And it's Ford.
Yeah. Oh.
Were they sure to get that right?
Yeah.
I assume they got it right.
Yeah. Like I think his character design shifted slightly, but like it is clearly not Stan.
Yeah.
I love that.
He doesn't have a cleft chin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're very nervous about Stan's memory. We're not entirely sure if he's going to get it back, but then he randomly remembers Waddle's name.
Waddles! Love that Waddles is the first thing he remembers. And so clearly,
Me too.
Mabel's photo albums are working. And thankfully, she's been keeping these photo albums and journals all summer. We then all fast forward to what I assume is quite some time later, because the entire town is rebuilt. Like the Mystery Shack is back.
It's the next week or something, isn't it?
I can't even tell. I wasn't listening. I don't think I was listening too closely. All I noticed was things like the diner is built again. The Mystery Shack is built again. Like these things, they were all in shambles, and then now they're all reconstructed.
I can't remember when Mabel was inviting people to the birthday party. Mm-hmm. I can't remember in how many weeks that was.
Oh,
because
give me
of summer.
1 sec. I will answer that question for you. 1 second.
Because it was like the end of summer and like the second to last day before they left.
Yeah.
So
maybe they pushed back their departure a little bit. Who knows?
I mean, they might.
I mean, it took them a long time to rebuild
I do believe that
It's kind of unclear.
When the bubble was popped, no time had passed. So in the bubble, like they were in the bubble they were in Weirdmageddon for however long, but when it's popped, it reverted back to before.
So we didn't lose time in Weirdmageddon, you're saying. Okay, all right.
Did they pop the bubble later then?
Well, I'm not talking about Mabel's bubble. I'm talking about the actual, like, Armageddon bubble when they defeated Bill.
Well, but, like, the thing that protects the town, no?
No, wait, so I think that Jill is saying that they spent, like, a week in the apocalypse, right?
Right.
But now the week that they spent in the apocalypse is wiped away. So if there was...
Okay. Well, so they still fixed the diner in a week.
Yeah.
Because, like, they were inviting people to their birthday party. Like, maybe it wasn't 3 days, but it was, like, 7.
Yeah. All right.
You know what I mean? I just don't remember, because I know Mabel was giving out these invitations, but I don't remember her being like, I could have sworn she was like, come to my party. It's like 2 weeks from today or a week from today or something. And that was the same day that she let Bill out.
Uh-huh.
So we know exactly how long it takes the town of Gravity Falls to rebuild their town of shambles.
I love that. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. They worked really hard and they got it done.
They hustled.
So they're back. The never mind all that act is passed.
Yep.
Sheriff and deputy are in love.
Dipper and Mabel versus the future happens exactly 1 week before their birthday.
Okay, yeah. So they fixed the town in a week.
I love that. Or they push back the departure.
Insane.
I don't know
well, but like, I'm also just like, but if they push back which also makes sense because Grenda and Candy are there.
They are there.
But like, Grenda should be on her vacation.
And Candy should be at music camp.
Well, right. But like in the end credits, we see the vacation and Candy and Grenda go with the Austrian prince.
Yeah.
Like they're both on the cruise. So I'm like, now, wait a minute. What are we even... When are things happening?
Time is meaningless. Nothing matters. Only feelings.
Buy gold.
Yeah, buy gold. Buy weird stock.
But not specifically, don't buy stock in weirdness because that is how you
don't buy stock
that is
in
how you go broke.
Because it is a dud.
And then your daughter will only have one pony.
Your daddy will only have one pony. I love that Pacifica kind of never gets any kind of redemption arc.
No.
She's just still awful until the end. But yes, the deputy and the sheriff are in love. The brothers are talking again. The brothers also decide to go on their little trip, finally, and leave the mystery shack to Seuss.
Mm-hmm. Which there is the one moment where Seuss did not roll with the punches. He could have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
If you shut down the mystery shack, you're shutting down our dreams. Seuss, so good.
My dreams. My dreams specifically.
My dreams specifically.
If this doesn't align with my fan fiction, I'm going to be very disappointed.
And I love them just getting on that bus to leave. I love them taking waddles.
Waddles!
That Stan makes them take waddles.
So the person who voices the bus driver is is yet another excellent piece of stunt casting.
And that is?
Coop himself, Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh.
Wow. That's a lot of star power driving a bus.
That's great.
This is like the the South Park thing they used to do where they were like guest voices and it was like Voices the dog.
Right.
It was just like, hang on, what you had who in your sound booth and you gave them the role of dog?
I mean, I don't know if you remember when Maggie said her first word, who voiced Maggie.
I mean, I don't remember the voice of Maggie, no. I feel like I remember what the first word was, though.
It was Elizabeth Taylor.
Ah.
Amazing.
Interesting.
One more things. Anybody have
I have
a
one more thing.
Love it.
Okay.
When Bill is fighting the Shacktron, and he discovers that like one leg isn't enclosed by the unicorn thing.
Oh yeah.
He goes, "Hey Achilles, nice work with the heel." And I was just like, who was this joke for? Like
this is a we have degrees in nothing that we are currently using joke.
This is this is I don't know where Josh Weinstein went to college. I'm going to assume Harvard because he's an OG Simpsons writer room guy. Sure. So we have at least Harvard and Caltech in the room.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's a great joke. Okay. Go.
Do you have one?
I have one. Mine is quick. Is yours quick?
I have yours. You should do yours because mine are quick, but there are two of them. Okay. So you should go first.
All right. So I said that my second favorite schmaltzy line was Grunkle Stan saying, "I'm good for something after all." Right? My favorite schmaltzy line in these episodes is the last conversation we have between Dipper and Mabel, where they're getting onto the bus. Dipper turns to Mabel and says, "Ready to head into the unknown?"
No.
And Mabel says, "Nope. Let's do it." Like,
aww.
And it's
perfect.
Good. It's perfect. No notes.
Perfect. I mean, like, this is also where, and we can get into this in the wrap up, where it was just like, no, this was always going to be 2 seasons. This is just that one weird summer that, you experienced before teenagerdom.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like they handled that really well.
Like this is
even though they left it weirdly open for season 3, it was just like, oh, absolutely not. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I mean the way
sorry. No, I was going to do my one more thing. So if you have a comment on that.
I was just going to say, like, the way that it ended, like, it's so perfect for supplemental material like the third journal, like the graphic novel, where they make the most out of format changes. Mm-hmm. Where with the graphic novel...
Yeah, Buffy did that with season 8, which I can't recommend enough.
Oh, I could not... Or maybe it was it the... No, I'm thinking of the Angel comic. Never mind. I was about to... The Angel comic, whose art was so bad, I stopped reading after, like, 1 issue. I was just like, no.
Oh, what a pity.
No, I can't. I can't do it. And then I found it... Yeah. So, no. But I never did read the Buffy stuff, but that's also a lot to do with...
Side note, really quick, there's just a giant Dawn in like the first issue.
That's great.
And I'm just like, you couldn't have done that in the show. It wouldn't have been believable.
No.
But it like, she falls in love with like a warlock or something, and the warlock curses her. And so it's just like, she's gigantic and living in the dungeon of a castle because she's too big to live anywhere else.
Oh.
And like, she's huge and uncomfortable. She's just like, I hate this. And it's so funny because the comic is literally just, you get like the first corner and then it zooms out and it's just a full page spread of how giant Dawn is to this tiny little Buffy.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's like, use the medium.
Yeah.
What if you use the medium? And they did.
Which they do in Lost Legends, which is the graphic novel. It's, I think,
nice.
5 different stories. And each one is done by a different person. So, like, different writer, different artist. One of them, the art was a fan artist that they, like, just saw their art online and was like, let's hire this person because their stuff is on model. And it's great.
Very cool. Love it when that happens.
I'm a big fan of that one. But there's, like, one of the stories... It like there's like the Gravity Falls weirdness is like they fall into a comic book dimension or something, and each section is a different comic style. So like there's a Peanuts, there's an Archie, there's a Popeye, like, and it's just so lovingly done as like a love letter to the medium.
Mm-hmm. I love that, and you can definitely do that with a show like.
Oh yeah.
So I have one more things, which are pretty quick. One of them is that Seuss was wandering the wasteland, helping people.
Yes, I think I'm a folk hero now.
The apocalypse, the handyman of the apocalypse.
I love him
If the
so
world
much.
is broken, the apocalypse is going to need a handyman.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I also, as a side note, I love that his abuela turns into the chair.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that's one of my favorite grandmother things ever on the planet.
Adorable.
Like, yeah, you turned into a comfy chair, and now you can recline. And then the other thing is, I would almost say it wasn't on purpose, but because we're watching the show we're watching, I feel like it was.
Mm-hmm.
So Gideon's bikers, you know, his gang that he created while he was in prison.
Because they sent a 10-year-old to adult
warriors
prison
and
for
stuff.
some reason.
Discount Automart Warriors.
Yes.
Now this is some like tinfoil hat stuff, but it's DAW. It's DAW. And I was like, hang on a second.
Was that
I'm
on
not
purpose?
usually this person.
Yeah.
But I think it was that he like said it again after our heroes had said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he literally changed the name as he was saying it.
Yeah.
I feel like he almost called him and his crew DAW all by itself. And then he was like, no, we are the Discount Automart Warrior.
Well, now that just feels like a wasted opportunity. Right. Why did no one look at them and go, duh?
Duh.
It's my headcanon and you can't take it away.
Headcanon accepted.
Headcanon accepted.
Also, and I will be remiss if I don't mention this. I guess I can mention it next week and maybe we can talk about it more next week. Definitely somewhere between episode 17 and 18 was that episode that I had seen a long time ago without seeing the rest of the series.
Nice.
Absolutely. Because it's like, I remember Dipper and Mabel were fighting. Mm-hmm. We're on opposite ends of an argument. And I can like very clearly remember Mabel like creating those seats that everybody sat in.
Right.
But it like, all of a sudden I was like, ping, 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 ping. And it was just like, yes.
This is
it was
the
like
one.
right here. Which is insane, having not seen the rest of the show.
Yeah.
To see episode 17 of season 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a
Like,
wild.
What? Why?
That's a wild start.
What? But this is also why it's always hard for me to be like, yeah, you'll probably like it. I completely saw it out of order, but sure. Yeah.
It's also good in order.
It is also good in
Joy,
order.
is this the first time you watched it in
highly
order?
recommend. Huh?
Is this the first time you watched it in order?
Oh, no. But I don't usually watch this show over and over again. It's just one of the few that it just doesn't hit that way. I don't know why. But I have seen it from beginning to end probably a couple of times.
All right. Well, listen, we'll talk more about this probably in our wrap-up for Gravity Falls.
Yeah, for sure.
But, Jill, you want to share your deets?
Yes. You can find me most places. MX Labradorite, MXLABRADORITE. That's me on Blue Sky, and from there you can find my card. I'm Jill Friedman on YouTube. Come check me out. I have a Gravity Falls fan vid and a Gravity Falls video essay that everyone should go check out right now.
Now that we've finished the show, specifically now that I have finished the show, I am allowed to watch these things.
Hooray!
Hooray! Okay, and if you're looking for more Bach Pod, we would love to hear from you. Please check us out on Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, what would your Mabel Lands look like? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.